Roki Sasaki has another rough outing. How concerned should we be about Roki Sasaki in a move that the Dodgers should consider making to save Roki from a disappointing season? Also, the Dodgers go with Alex Freeland over Hyeseong Kim. We'll get into that. What went into that decision? Was it the right decision? Edwin Diaz made his first appearance at Dodgers Stadium. We heard Timmy trumpets for the first time. Dave Roberts revealed the Dodgers opening day starting rotation. Are we getting the blue alternate jerseys? I think we are. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got one parade. We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series. Starts the 50-50 clock. Roki Magic.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the number one Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Also, the podcast. Give us a 5-star review. Write us a review. We'll read it on this show. This show is brought to you by the LA Sports Report and GearUp.LA. It's the official merch store of Dodgers Nation. The Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, do you agree with the Dodgers' decision to go with Alex Freeland over Hyeseong Kim? So we'll talk about that. I'll tell you what I've heard about that decision. But this is essentially a post-game show and a Dodgers Dugout Live combined into one, and there's so much to get into in the world of Dodger baseball, so let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so the hottest story in Dodger baseball is the fact that Roki Sasaki had another rough outing in his final tune-up for the season. Roki, in his final spring training start tonight, he goes 2 innings, gives up 5 runs, no hits, but just 2 strikeouts, had 6 walks, and hit 2 batters through 66 pitches. His spring training finishes with a 15.58 ERA. And yes, I don't think that spring training stats are very useful and meaningful. I think that you can spot trends, you can identify certain things, and yes, I think it's a good indication of where guys are at as far as being in tune with their mechanics, how dialed in they are. But I do think that it's more important for younger players than older veteran players. Right? If Mookie Betts or Teoscar Hernandez or Freddie Freeman, some of these other guys aren't doing well in spring training, I'm not going to read too much into it. But when it's someone like a Roki Sasaki that still has not proven that he can consistently find the strike zone, that he can get out big league hitters, that he can go multiple turns through the lineup with any level of consistency and success, I'm going to look at these spring training numbers. And tonight, Roki Sasaki, he was a mess in the first inning. He really was. And you look at where the Dodgers are at and where Roki Sasaki's at, Dave Roberts has already said that he's going to be a part of the starting rotation to begin the season. But it really makes you wonder, if that was the right decision. And this is not to say that Roki Sasaki is going to be a bust, that Roki Sasaki is not going to have success in this league, but it's clear to you, it's clear to me that we're just hoping that things are going to click for Roki when the season begins and the lights are bright. And hopefully we see Roki Sasaki perform on the mound like he did when he was coming out of the bullpen during the postseason. The big difference here is he's going to be used as a starter and not a reliever. And being a starter requires a third pitch, a fourth pitch. You can't just go fastball, forkball. And yes, it's good that hitters don't have a lot of success against that forkball, but I think they are potentially throwing him into a fire where it's going to end up with similar results of last season, in that he's going to go up. He's going to struggle early. If he does struggle, they're going to point to maybe an injury. They're going to point to mechanical issues. They're going to point to this and to point to that. And it becomes this, let's make excuses for Roki Sasaki. But also, I think that what they're doing is setting him up for potential failure. The truth is, he does not look like he's ready mechanically. And the fact is, he has not mastered a third pitch. He's not gotten even close to it. So you are essentially having a pitcher who's never had sustained success as a starting pitcher in the minors or at the majors, and thrusting him into big league action in a high pressure situation on the team that's the favorite to the World Series. And he doesn't have that third pitch. He doesn't have fastball command. He's not finding the zone consistency. And it is, I think, a situation where if there wasn't this, Roki Sasaki chose the Dodgers with a big, massive pitch, and yet every single one of the Dodgers, whether in person or through video, make their pitch to Roki Sasaki when they were in a Bel Air mansion, and Roki Sasaki chose the Dodgers, right? That's fine, but there's got to be a little bit of meritocracy here. And you can't play favorites all the time. And I think that the Dodgers and Roki Sasaki really need to get a plan, which you know they have, and you trust his organization for sure, but I think it feels to me like the Dodgers brass, Dave Roberts, this entire organization is just becoming overly optimistic and I think a little unrealistic with the amount of growth that he can have in a short period of time. I think that they feel like, it's the next start's going to be the start where he puts it all together. The next start is going to be the one where everything starts to click, but that start has just not arrived yet. After the game, Dave Roberts told reporters, I don't think you can completely bank on or evaluate spring training or an exhibition game, but yeah, it hasn't been great. It really hasn't, and we know that. The standard needs to be better. He knows that. We know that, and now it's kind of go time and see how he can perform when the lights come on. And I just read that last part. We got to see how he can perform when the lights come on. If this was any other minor league pitcher, if River Ryan had a 15 ERA, if Bobby Miller had a 15 ERA, if Landon Ag had a 15 ERA, if Gavin Stone had a 15 ERA, if it was any of these other young pitchers who are struggling because they're not fully formed, they would not just throw them into the fire and just hope for the best results. Because what this is going to do and what could happen here is, look, tonight, he came out of the first inning, Cobb came in, and he came back out. Guess what? You can't do that in a big league game. You can't just come and take Roki out when he's struggling and hope he re-enters the game and is able to eat innings. No, if he struggles like that and he's hitting multiple batters and he's walking multiple batters, then guess what? He's going to have a short start. He's going to pitch 2 or 3 innings, and then he's going to tax a bullpen that we know it's going to have some issues throughout the season if you have to go down that route. So I think that at this point, At this point, they need to at least have some serious conversations of, fine, we'll start him when the season begins. But if we see, let's say two of the same types of outings that we've seen recently from Roki Sasaki, then what? Then does River Ryan get an opportunity? It'll be very interesting to see how this plays out early on in the season. But here, let's hear from Roki Sasaki. He talked about his mechanics after the game. Here was Roki after his final spring training tune-up.
Today, yes, there were the walks. What were you finding just with how your stuff was playing this evening?
今日こういう結果になって、ちょっとフォアボールとかもあったんですけれども、今日のその元々の目標というか予定というかどんな感じで試合に入ってきましたか。
そうですね。今日が最後のスプリングトレーニングだったので、実践を意識した実践というか、シーズン本番を意識した中で、こうどういうちゃんとパフォーマンスができるかってところを投げる前は大事にしていきました。
So this is my last spring training game, so I was trying to find a game feel today, and before the game started, yeah.
Did you feel like you found that, or?
いい感じで見つけられたかというか、何か自分の探したもの。
今日に関してはもちろん結果の通り良くなかったので、そんなになかったかなと思います。
The results were really bad today, so I couldn't really find it.
Why do you think you're still having so much trouble finding the strike zone consistently?
そのストライクを投げることにちょっと難しさがあるのかなというふうに見えるんですけども、何か原因はありますか？
原因がそうです。試合前のブルペンとかは、割とコントロールできている中で、試合になって、スプリントトレーニングではこういう感じが多かったので、前回まではこう試合中に修正したりできたんですけど、今日に関してはそこまでちょっと分からなかったかなと思います。
So before the game started in the bullpen, I actually felt pretty good. My command was good, but once I started the game and then start throwing, my mechanics a little off, and then I couldn't fix it.
So the good news with Roki Sasaki is he's not giving up a ton of hits. He was charged with 15 earned runs in 8 2/3 innings of work. Has that 15.58 ERA, which no one's going to remember if he has a successful season, but he has just given up 9 hits in those innings. He has struck out 12, but he has 15 walks. And that was the trend from last season, where the strikeouts to walk ratio is essentially 1-to-1. During spring, he had more walks than he had strikeouts, 15 walks to 12 strikeouts. And looking at tonight's outing, the big concern is this, taking away from this one. He ends up throwing 66 pitches. 32 of those pitches were for strikes. And yes, he did not allow a hit, but he gave up the 5 runs, issued the 6 walks, had the 2 strikeouts. So the high velocity that he shows at times, the dominance of the forkball that he shows at times, it's not leading to overpowering strikeouts that are making up for the walks. I mean, for him to make up for those walks, you got to really start to dominate and put those numbers up. And then the big question for Roki Sasaki is, where's the third pitch? Where's the fourth pitch? Well, tonight, of those 66 pitches that he threw, his fastball and splitter were 56 of those 66 pitches. So he was essentially an ineffective 2-pitch pitcher out there for the most part. And he threw his cutter and his slider a combination of 10 times. He did not throw that slider or cutter for a strike one time tonight. Every time he threw the cutter or the slider, it did not land in the strike zone. And he didn't have the fastball command. And the forkball, it's a great pitch, but this is the big leagues. If they know that your command is not going to be there, they're going to spit on that pitch. And the other big concern I have, the second major concern from his outing tonight, was early he had the velocity. He was hitting 99 with the heater, but that went down to 95 in the final inning. So we're talking about a velocity decrease throughout a start, and the splitter, that was his best pitch. He threw it for a strike 63% of the time, 17 out of 27 attempts. But that's not going to get it done. That is not. I mean, the third inning, the first inning to the third inning, I mean, it was bad. I mean, it just really was. I mean, he was extremely erratic, ineffective. He hit Zach Neto on a 3-0 pitch to start the game. He got a ground ball from Mike Trout, but not a good throw there from Miguel Rojas. That allowed him to reach base. And then he walked the next three hitters. Neto and Trout both scored. And then Dave Roberts pulled him after 30 pitches without having recording a single out there. And then the second inning, he hits Neto again. And this time he was ahead in the count 0-2, so he loses him. Then he gives him a fourth walk to Mike Trout. And then he finally was able to get an out. And then Jorge Soler, he ground out into a double play. And then the third inning was better. He did have another walk, though. He did have 2 strikeouts, and he did face his 4 batters. And then he comes back out there and he allowed a leadoff walk there in the fourth inning. Dave Roberts came to get him. So, yeah, I mean, look, all these things were laying out. You guys know, I'm the guy who coined the phrase Roki of the Year. No one wants him to be more successful than this guy right here. But having said that, I think the right thing for the Dodgers to do is if they think that this is going to be the Roki Sasaki that's going to start there in the Dodgers rotation, that they have to have an honest conversation with Roki about his development. And they got to say to him, hey, what would you rather have? Would you rather struggle in the show where there's short outings, you're getting either pounded or you're giving up too many walks, you're hitting batters, you're just ineffective, or do you want a chance to really take a deep breath, not have to force and rush the development of these third and fourth pitches, gain some confidence, and then get your shot? I think the right thing for the Dodgers to do would be to let River Ryan start the season in the rotation and continue to develop Roki Sasaki and get that confidence where it needs to be. So then when he does get his start in the rotation, then hopefully he has more success. I don't think they're going to do that. That's what I would do, just because it's really feeling like they're forcing Roki into the rotation when it doesn't appear that he's 100% ready. But welcome to Dodgers Dugout Live. Post-game shows are back. What? That's what I'm talking about. You know that the season is here when post-game shows are back, when rosters are being announced, when all kinds of awesome stuff is happening in the world of Dodger baseball. But I do want to get your comments. Welcome to Dodgers Dugout Live. What is your concern level? Let me know down below. I see you guys. Sasaki to AAA, agree 100. Wonder what is going through River Ryan's mind. Yeah, I mean, you got to probably. D-Mac, what is up? We get Sasaki to the Padres. Nope. W backdrop, you like it? Yeah, I got the GOAT, Jackie Robinson. I am not in Florida. I'm back in LA. I filmed something for ABC earlier today, so that should drop. We'll be on the lookout for that. Okay, we'll get to you guys more comments in a second here. Do want to switch gears to the decision that the Dodgers made to go with Alex Freeland over Hyeseong Kim. Here was Dave Roberts talking about that decision yesterday.
Well, Dave, we spoke with Alex Freeland this afternoon. Of course, you know the news of Hyeseong Kim being optioned. But when you look at just kind of that decision, what really led to Alex Freeland over Hyeseong?
Yeah, it was a very, probably the toughest decision of the spring. There's no doubt that Hyeseong at some point is going to come help us out. I think the driver, as far as at the outset, was giving Hyeseong an opportunity to play every day, play all over the diamond. He's going to play some short, some center, some second base there. Whereas here, he just wouldn't have the runway to do that, to play more frequently. I think with Alex, it's just what he's done in AAA already. He's really played well there. There's really nothing left for him to prove there. And so I think for us to give him a little bit of runway to see what we got in him, give him an opportunity to play here for us against right-handed pitching. And so just kind of see where it goes. But again, it's really not an indictment on Hyeseong at all. And like I said, we think the world of him as a player, as a teammate, and expect him to help us at some point.
Yeah, with Hyeseong and being that utility player, I mean, do you just feel like there's just more value if he can play at different parts of the diamond?
Yeah, he's a excellent elite second baseman, but to continue to get at bats, the versatility piece, the opportunity to do that, he wouldn't be really getting that here.
How do you factor in the spring results for a guy like Freeland, where the surface numbers weren't very good?
I think that I think for me with Alex, I think the at bat quality has been fine. He just hasn't finished. Hasn't finished off the at bats. So I think that for us, I've always said I don't evaluate completely through spring training. But yeah, Hyeseong, it was abbreviated, but he had a nice spring. But it's a small sample, and Alex played a lot, didn't have a great spring, but played great defensively. And I still think that, in talking to the front office, we felt that with what he's done before in the past at AAA, giving him this opportunity and see where it leads.
The Dodgers did option Hyeseong Kim to AAA, and that sets up Alex Freeland, who's currently the number 8 prospect in the Dodgers organization, to get that final spot on the 26-man roster for opening day. And Dodgers fans aren't happy about this, but I'll tell you this was the right decision. And the reason it was the right decision is you can see some of the things we just talked about with Roki Sasaki, and they apply to Hyeseong Kim. Ask yourself this question. For what the Dodgers need at the bottom of their lineup to give Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Tucker and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and Will Smith and Teoscar Hernandez, to give that top of the lineup the most opportunities to drive runs in, who gives them a better at-bat to accomplish that right now? Is it Hyeseong Kim or is it Alex Freeland? Hyeseong Kim, if you look at the numbers, you say to yourself, wow, a 967 OPS, had a 407 batting average. You look at some of those numbers and you say to yourself, wow, that certainly feels like it's Kim that gives you the best opportunity, right? That it's Kim for that. The truth is yes, when you look at Kim's numbers, they are impressive in a vacuum. 11 for 27. But it's the chase rate at pitches out of the zone. It's the inability to work counts, get on base consistently, and the power numbers just don't back up the strikeout rate. For a guy that strikes out last season at a 30% clip, you have to really make up for that with slug. He just doesn't make up for that with slug. And the issue with Hyeseong Kim is this, and I'll tell you, ultimately, just from speaking to sources today and people in and around the team, is that they just felt like Alex Freeland right now is better served to give them a more competitive and consistent at-bat with the floor a little higher than Kim right now. This spring, yes, I get it. You see Kim and you say, wait a minute, how does a guy that hit 407 not get a spot over a guy in Alex Freeland who hit 111? Well, the answer to your question is Alex Freeland drew 13 walks this spring. Hyeseong Kim, meanwhile, you look at the strikeouts, he ended up with 8 strikeouts and reached base via walk just 1 time. So they value the on base potentially, and Freeland a 300 on base, and that needs to be better. Here's the thing too, like Alex Freeland has to be better than he's been as a hitter this spring to have any chance of being on this roster long term. But still, they like that. And I think, too, it goes twofold, too. So what I was told as well is this wasn't necessarily we like Alex Freeland better than Hyeseong Kim long-term or anything like that. This was we're trying to do what they think is what's best for Alex Freeland and Hyeseong Kim. And the truth is that Hyeseong Kim is implementing more swing changes for this season. And they need to see him be able to hit and avoid strikeouts with consistency. They have no doubts about the defense. They know he can play second base. They know he can provide the backup center field option. They know that he's fast. But if he wasn't fast, he wouldn't be on this team, right? He needs to be able to prove to them that he can avoid strikeouts and he can hit pitching consistently with these swing changes. And the truth is they could not guarantee him those at-bats at the level that he needs to get them at. Because you got Santiago Espinal, because you got Miguel Rojas. And Dave Roberts said it himself. He said, quote, but the driver is him playing 6 days a week and logging a considerable number of at-bats, which he wouldn't get here. So is what you wanted for Hyeseong Kim just to throw a guy in there and hope for the best? What happens if Hyeseong Kim performed the same way he did last season after his first month up? Because I love Hyeseong Kim. You love Hyeseong Kim. Great smile. Dude's jacked. Great vibes. He's fast. We love the Comet, right? Well, guess what? When Hyeseong Kim came up last season and he had a fantastic start, first month in May, he was 19 for 45, hit 422. Had an OPS at 1,058 in his first month. Then June, it went down a little bit, 333. After that, he fell off a cliff. July hit 193, got injured, came back, and hit 130 in September. So he's going to get a shot, but they're thinking long-term for Hyeseong Kim. The last thing they want to do is break his confidence. And here's the thing. Until that swing is completely dialed in, he's still in development mode. And Alex Freeland really is not going to require just a retooling of his swing. It's just going to go, hey, can you get on base? And look at the first at-bat. Last night was everything you needed to know about Alex Freeland, really. I mean, Alex Freeland last night had a couple walks, saw 22 pitches, working counts. That's what they're asking for from the bottom of the lineup hitters. They're not asking for them to be all-star hitters. They're just trying to get guys on base and be able to mix things up. So I think this was 100% the right decision. I won't sit here and tell you can't question the Dodgers because I don't think anyone is beyond reproach. You guys said all season that Tanner Scott and Michael Conforto should have been playing. I think you guys look like you're right for the most part. And they're not. Every decision is not going to be the right decision. Then again, they are the defending world champions. They have won 2 straight titles. So you really have to appreciate the way they go about their business. And I still think that this is the right move at the end of the day, all things considered. And look, I know what they've said. Oh, we definitely appreciated and respected the fact that Hyeseong Kim went to represent his team for the WBC. But you have to believe that for a guy that didn't have his roster spot locked up, that had to have an impact. I mean, if Hyeseong Kim, whether it's right or wrong, whether you believe it's right or wrong, if Hyeseong Kim had stayed in camp and just continued to hit, and they saw he was further along with those swings changes, then I think that he would have had a better shot to make this roster. He ended up going 1 for 12, did have a home run, but yeah, I mean, he's got to find a way to put the ball in play and not strike out as much. Right. Let's hear what you guys have to say about Hyeseong Kim. Let's see what we got to say. We've got D-Mac is tripping. Okay. Conforto had no options. And that's the thing, too. You bring up a good point, is the fact that he has options. Both of them have options. But here's the thing about Kim is with Kim and his age, like Hyeseong Kim is 27. He's someone that's a little older than Freeland. They need to fast track and accelerate that swing development. And you have a chance to do that in the show. So here, great at the minor league level. So here, let's put him. And here's the good thing too. This is such a long season, Dodgers Nation. It is such a long season. There is 6 months plus the postseason. Guys get injured. They are going to slow play Tommy Edman and Kike Hernandez. They are not going to rush that. Richard, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that they're screwing him. I'm saying that just think about it. Think about it. If the people that are making this decision, if you're around more often in front of those people that are making those decisions, and you are incorporating what those people are telling you to do, and they're seeing the success of it, yeah, it just logically makes you feel like there's a better chance that that's going to work. And I think too, like they're valuing yeah, I get it. Alex Freeland's not this guy that has this big smile and he's jacked and he's great on social media, right? What if he was? What would you guys be saying then? Right? I mean, I'm trying to put together the best baseball team possible, and I'm trying to get the most out of the players on my roster. And I think that this puts him in a. What would you rather have for Hyeseong Kim? Would you prefer? Oh, he starts the season on the big league roster. Oh, he's 2 for 30 with a lot of strikeouts, and then guess what? He'll never get another chance. Right? It'll be very, very difficult. There would have to be a slew of injuries for him to get another opportunity. But now, if he comes up, when he does get a chance, he's going to get a little better of a runway to do that. Like I said, you're going to have injuries. If Alex Freeland can't hit, if he struggles to the plate, best believe he will be optioned as well. So that's how the game works. We got J.Y. Kim. It's just so fascinating to see people support HSK more here than in Korea. Jeremy Holiday, Kim is a better defender and is way more versatile. Yeah, I mean, certainly you like the fact that he can play center field. You also like the fact that he can play short, second. But I mean, like Alex Freeland does the same thing on the infield. I mean, I think it just kind of makes you wonder too. I mean, like Eddie Paz is going to be your everyday center fielder, right? And he's young. He's got time to burn. And Kike is going to be back at the end of May. You got Alex Call in there. I mean, he's on the roster for a reason too. So they do have guys that can play that position. It makes you wonder how much time he actually would get out there. But their tune definitely changed. I mean, their tune definitely changed, and I wouldn't too. The emergence of Santiago Espinal also is a factor in this as well. We were talking about Michael Boyd. Thanks for taking on Kim. But yeah, UCLA in the house. DMAC went rogue. Ray Soto. I was traveling back here, man. DMAC lost some bets today with UCLA and Roki start probably. Joseph. We were talking about the Dodgers collective with myself and Fabian Ardaya and Jerry Harrison Jr. About the fact that, hey, there was a small chance that Alex Freeland was going to make this roster, and everyone had Kim as a lock. Well, there you go. I mean, things changed a little bit. So Freeland hitting 111, striking out 70 times was impressive. I'm not saying it was impressive. I'm not. I think what I'm saying that is they can see the makings of what a Freeland at bat right now looks like at the big league level, where there's a higher chance of him getting a walk than Kim making up for the lack of walks with a single, double, triple, or home run. And they're saying, hey, Freeland, get on base so Shohei can get you home, right? So that's kind of the impetus for that. What's up, left on base? Yep, they screwed Kim because he went to the WBC. We've got DMAC seems you're trying to convince yourself. No, I'm not. I mean, look, at the end of the day, guess what? Here's the beautiful thing, Dodgers Nation, is this is a roster that's constructed where whatever Kim or Freeland do, we know that it's not going to be the reason why they win or lose the National League West or finish with the best record in baseball or anything like that, right? This team is still led by the superstars. But I think that the Kim conversation is a little deeper just because he clearly is a very popular player with the fan base, and rightfully so. The guy's got a great personality. He told me when I interviewed him that his dream was to make the opening day roster. And I will say this, is sometimes young players, you got to get punched in the eye a little bit, right? You got to you get knocked out a little bit, get knocked down a little bit. You got to kind of just hit that wall. And I think we're going to learn a lot about Hyeseong Kim, because I was told he's one of the smartest players in the organization already. They know he's extremely intelligent, but he's got to make it his mission to show them not only can I hit, but I can avoid striking out. Because if he could avoid striking out and avoid chasing at the rate that he does, this would have been his position. And I think, too, this was always going to be a project because you're coming over from the KBO. You completely are changing your swing. Last year, it was ditching the leg kick. This year, I was told he's a little more upright, and the rotational stuff is kind of been tempered down. So I think that there's other things that are these moving parts of his pinwheel swing that you just want to see. You just want to see him have some success and get that confidence, right? I don't agree with Roki or Freeland decisions, but nothing we can do about it. Sydney, yeah, you can. You know what you can do about it, Sydney? You can comment about it here on Dodgers Dugout Live After Dark. And we know that the organization, this is the show they watch. That's all I'm saying. Ray Soto, Mark Pryor was hurt his whole life. What can he teach a young arm? Sometimes if you can't do, you teach. But he had some really nice moments. He had some really nice moments as a pitcher in the show. Remember his time with the Cubs. We've got Richard Flores. He won't even get his World Series ring this weekend. Bush League. Oscar. Yep. Yeah, I think it was Hyeseong Kim. He was like he's getting his World Series ring in FedEx. The opening day roster is overrated. Malachi, we got Lola. Lola's back. Wait, is that the Lola? Where have you been? Patience, Grasshoppers. Hi, DMAC. Been 3 months and I'm still not fully available yet time-wise. Lola, you make the time. You give us the hours in which you are going to be available. We will completely go at the time that works best for you. Young Yi, if Kim were Japanese, would the Dodgers have sent Kim to the minors? I don't think that is something in play here. We've got, for real, the Dodgers opening roster always looks different like 3 months in. Yeah, that's the thing, too. I mean, look, think of guys like Zach McKinstry a couple years ago. I mean, they came up, and James Alman, Andy Paez, like, there's going to be moving parts. There really are. And the Dodgers, Dave Roberts said after the game, we'll get to that in a second here. But, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, it's got to change. It's got to change as far as this is an older team. 7 of the 9 position players on this team are older than 30. So they're going to load manage. They're going to have some injuries, and that's going to open the door for Hyeseong Kim. And guess what? We are going to talk about that this season, is which of these young players found the way to kind of emerge, because it's one of the hardest organizations to be able to do that. It's like I was talking to someone, they told me the difference between AAA and the show these days is like going from driving go-karts to driving the Indy 500. So the fact that they think that Kim could benefit from AAA tells you that they don't think that he's ready for consistent big league at-bats. So let's let this process play out. But here was Dave Roberts after the game talking about Roki Sasaki. So very interested to hear this. Here was Dave Roberts after the penultimate, the second to last spring training game before opening day.
Obviously tonight he didn't have feel for the strike zone. He really didn't have a lot of feel for any of his pitches. So I think that, I mean, you know, he's going to start, like I said, he's going to start the fourth game of the season. You know, he's got to go out there and go out there and attack hitters. I think that it's just one of those things that it's just tough to pitch when you're working behind in counts, running deep counts, and getting your pitch count up there. So I think it's just one of those things that, you know, if it's mechanical, if it's mental, if it's emotional, you know, all that we got to kind of sift through and getting finding some clarity, you know, when he takes them out. Because at the end of the day, he's got to go out there and get outs. So it was good that, you know, obviously we got him out of there in that first inning. I felt that, you know, we tried to build him up. So to give him the best chance to do that, that was the right time to kind of get him out of the inning. and then we touched the fourth inning, so I felt good about that. It's not about the pitches, and ideally you'd like to get more innings under his belt, but I think that for us it's just if he can attack the hitting zone and force their hand, put those hitters on their heels, not pitch from behind, I think that the results will be considerably better. There were some good splits in there. There were some good sliders in there. There were some good fastballs in there. But in totality, it just wasn't consistent, and we all know that. So for me, like I've always said, we're still kind of trying to learn and get better and acclimate. So I believe in him. I really do. I told him that, in the dugout. And so for me, I'm going to keep pouring into him like our staff is and expect it to get better.
Do you think he can attack the hitting zone, especially? Do you think that's something that can get to the level it needs to be by next week to be able to pitch deep into a game once regular season starts?
I don't know. I think that I don't know, working backwards to that question, I'm not really, concerned as far as deep into a game. I expect him to go further than he went, this spring. I think that if he can, I do think that we can get him back in the strike zone, attack hitters, work on a few things that I think we can clean up that, the pitching guys sort of identified, and then we'll see where it takes us. But I know he was disappointed, but it's not I'm not concerned. I just I know it's in there. I've seen it in big spots, and so just want to get that mechanics and the confidence where it needs to be. I've seen it.
So credit Dave Roberts, man. This is why he gets paid the big bucks, is he gives his players confidence, and that's his job, is to, until anything changes, is to give these guys the belief and the confidence to know that we're in your corner, and that's fine. I don't think there's any issue with that. I think that that's how they're going to play it. And look, if we go after the first start Roki, and Roki looks like all of a sudden he's NPB Roki, then I'm going to be excited, right? I'm going to be thrilled. I'm going to be overjoyed, because I think that's the guy that we thought we were getting, right? The velocity dips going forward. I'm surprised. I mean, if I was there, I'd ask Dave. I mean, he said he wasn't concerned, but the fact that you go from 99 to 95 throughout the course of a start, it tells me you're laboring. It really tells me you're laboring there. But all right, let's get to the seventh inning stretch. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we get that, how about Edwin Diaz? Edwin Diaz, this is going to be absolutely electric. Inject this into my arms all this season long. This is going to be so exciting. This is kind of a little soft launch of the Timmy Trumpet Narco Edwin Diaz experience. Mets fans, look away, because you're going to hate this.
Bringing in an arm like this, Edwin Diaz in his unofficial Dodgers Stadium debut.
Certainly didn't see this coming in the offseason. Andrew Freeland just pulled this one out of his hat. Signing Diaz, I don't think anybody in Major League Baseball saw this coming. When you look at those numbers,
we got an alternate 1-2. Where's our alternate? We got another look at it here.
And your attention, please. Now pitching for the Dodgers, number 3, Edwin Diaz.
The Dodgers did not mess around this offseason. Going out and getting the best reliever available in Edwin Diaz. You also got the best outfielder available in Kyle Tucker. And by the way, it was a cool moment where Kyle Tucker was looking at Miguel Rojas after the hit, and he did the the charge celebration went the wrong way at first, and Miguel Rojas, he showed him the right way to do it. Kyle Tucker had got a little smile on his face. I'm going to do a big preview coming up, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. But I think Kyle Tucker's going to be the second best hitter on the Dodgers this season. I really do. I think he's going to have a monster year batting in front of Shohei Ohtani, and what that means for him. I mean, batting after Shohei Ohtani in front of Mookie Betts. I mean, it's going to be absolutely incredible. By the way, we are going to see a little bit of a different lineup at times, potentially, especially against left-handed pitching. And what that's going to do is we're going to see Freddie Freeman bat fifth sometimes this season. And he hasn't batted lower than cleanup since 2016. But Dave Roberts said today, a lot of times when I put together a lineup, I'm trying to make it more difficult for the opposing manager to navigate. Now, what he means by that is if the opposing manager wants to leave their left-handed starter in the game or a left-handed reliever in the game to face Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, or if it's the left-handed starter in the third time through the order and he wants to keep in the game to face Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman, well, if you bat Shohei leadoff and you bat Freddie fifth and you throw two right-handed hitters into that mix, well, guess what? Well, that forced that lefty to now face two righties and not have that platoon advantage. And we know that Mookie Betts is going to bat third. It's going to be Shohei, Tucker, and Mookie Betts. But then now you throw in Freddie Freeman in the fifth spot, and then behind Mookie, you've got Will Smith, another right-handed hitter. If Teoscar Hernandez is going through a hot stretch, maybe you see Teoscar Hernandez batting cleanup as a right-handed hitter. So now that lefty has to face Shohei, Tucker, Mookie, Smith, and then Freddie Freeman. So if Freddie's batting cleanup, then that lefty only has to face one righty in Mookie Betts, and now you make things pretty tough. Dave Roberts will also say having the ability to sandwich Will between Mookie and Freddie and having Espinal in the 7 spot to potentially have Muncy to be able to hit, it just poses threats, and not to have right or left-handed runs. So, yeah, that makes our lineup even tougher to navigate. So, just want to throw that in there. I thought it was pretty interesting as far as lineup construction. You know I love me some lineup construction talk. What are your thoughts on that? But, all right, I have talked enough so far. It's now time for the voice of Dodgers Nation, the fan out there. Let's hear all your thoughts, comments, and questions about your boys in blue on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
All right, we've got Bob Connolly. Alex Freeland is the second coming of Kevin Biggio. Wow. I still need my Kevin Biggio City Connect uniform. I'm just happy to see D-Mac. What is up, Ray? What is up, R. Carino? Clifford, Freeland had a more impact also after August last. Yeah, Freeland had some moments, man. There's a big home run in Colorado, in San Diego. He's had a moment. Freeland this spring was as useless as an umbrella stand. That's from our friend Richard over there. What's up, Richard? You ready for the season, my man? Joseph, D-Mac Kim just called and said he's returning your comment shirt. I fully support Hyeseong Kim. The last thing you guys want Hyeseong Kim to be on the roster when he might not be ready for that role right now. And I'm telling you, the Dodgers, if they give you runway and you don't make the most of it, it's bye-bye. We saw it happen with James Outman. It was bye-bye. Even after he finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting, following season, he struck out too much. It was bye, see ya. You're not going to come back. So I want to see Kim ready. I want to see those swing changes, and I want to see him more comfortable at the plate and striking out less. That way, when I get to see him here, I'm getting him for 200-plus at-bats, not 50 in a bench roll or something that's bad for him long-term. He's a project. And right now, the part of that project is you're not close to turning it in, right? You're still working on it. We've got D's not okay. Kim needs to trade out of the Dodgers. F them. They're disrespectful to him. Okay. Mr. Classic, Hyeseong Kim is getting paid $12.5 million. Yeah, $12.5 million over the course of the 3 years, and he has the option. That contract could be up over more than $22 million. Everyone strikes out. Yeah, everyone strikes out at least once, but he strikes out at an above-average level. Thanks, Mario, pushing for those likes. Yeah. Feed the algorithm, guys. You want to support this show, by the way? If you haven't yet, subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Drop a comment down below. It supports every episode. Don Davis. D-Mac, I know you'll hate me for this, but how much are those Roki of the Year t-shirts going for now? I don't appreciate that, Don Davis. Just like Dave Roberts and this organization, it's time to support Roki Sasaki more than ever. Will he be Roki of the Year? Maybe they're not. Do I still think that was a fire shirt? I still do. And I'm still holding out hope. Juan, Dave doesn't like him for some reason. He's such a better player than Freeland. They gave Conforto for Fordo all season. Make it make sense. Yes, it is. What's up, Lola? Who bought the gold? Yeah. Which Dodgers jersey do you want that's the World Series ones, where it's the gold outlining, there's a patch on it, they look so much better than last year's. Last year's the Dodgers was gold. This year the Dodgers still blue, but it's outlining gold. The numbers outlining gold. They look fantastic. Dancing on dugouts in the KB was fun. We've got D-Mac is Robert's going to make the superstars take games off, including Shohei Valor. I mean, Shohei wants to play. He wants to push for another unanimous MVP. Only Barry Bonds has more MVPs than him, and he has 7. Shohei has 4, and he wants to win the Cy Young. Freddie Freeman, I think they'll have some conversations about. Mookie Betts, I think that they're in a good position to give him some days off throughout. But you're absolutely right. They definitely need to make sure that they are giving veterans days off, and that's kind of a part of the sustainable model of a team that's going for a third straight title. Like, you got to make sure that these guys are staying locked in and that they're not getting overworked. D-Mac, what is up with the blue alternate jersey? That's from Joe Magazzini. Okay, so I'm still working to confirm this, but this. So here are my takes on this. I do think at this point the Dodgers are going. Look, I put my head on it. Look, I'm wearing it. I do think the Dodgers are going to be wearing this jersey this season, and the reason why I think that is because, one, they're already selling this. It's not a City Connect. But notice it says Los Angeles on the front and doesn't say Dodgers. I think the reason why they went with Los Angeles on the front instead of Dodgers is because they want to separate it from the spring training uniform that they always use, right? With the blue and the Dodgers, they want to differentiate it. You also have Dodgers on the sleeve, so it's a different way that they typically do it, right? It's not the LA, it's the Dodgers on the sleeve. You also have the piping, the gray piping on the sleeve, and then the red numbers are outlined in gray, so I can see this with gray pants. And I think it's going to be on the road. In fact, I have a prediction. I think the first time they're going to wear these is going to be against the Blue Jays on the road. I think they'll wear these against the Blue Jays. I'm still working to confirm these. But it does appear the Dodgers are going to be wearing these at some point this season as a blue alternate. I don't love the outline. I kind of wish they would keep the red numbers. It's basically the Dodgers uniform because you have gray piping on the sleeves. And you look at the Dodgers road gray Los Angeles jersey, and what that looks like is that actually has the LA on the side. It says Los Angeles and LA. I kind of would prefer they have done that, but it feels like these are going to be made. It feels like these are going to be worn. And, what do you guys think about these? What are your thoughts on these jerseys? Would you like to see them in a game? Let's see what we got here. Welcome to Dodgers Dugout Live. Mets fans look away. Yep. We got Pika P. We got Craig. We got the whole gang in here. What is up? Please get ready. The City Connects. Koufax. Uniform had Los Angeles on the home uniforms. Matt from Donna Davis. GS Markin. Keeping Sasaki in the roster is going to hurt the team. We've got guess the Guardians are winning a game from us. $60, but can talk to 45. Okay, Roki is overhyped. They okay. Not a lot of people loving them. You're nitpicking the outline, huh? I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, I just think that, I want to see a black jersey. I think a black City Connect would have been sick. The City Connects, I don't care. Those haven't grown on me like they've grown on me like mold. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I do feel like they're going to go this route. I really do. All right, couple more here. You guys excited for the season? Does it feel like it's just been the fastest offseason? Represent Los Angeles. D-Mac got the Freeland of the year shirt cooking from Nando. Yeah. Do not. I like the City Connects. D's okay. I'm not mad at it. I mean, Shohei looks good at anything. So, Drew Durr, if they wear this City over the City Connect Funfettis, I'm all for these blue alternates. I think they're going to have the City Connects and these. That's just my estimation here. Oh, here's the thing, too. Here's something that's pretty interesting. Just looking at these jerseys. Is the Guggenheim patch typically is... Yeah, they're going to have the Guggenheim patch on the sleeve. They wear these. And the Guggenheim patch is on the right. So let's see. Yeah, there you go. So that it still makes sense for the Guggenheim patch because the Dodgers on that side, and it makes sense where that would be anyway. But yeah, I definitely think these are definitely going to be made. But let's do a couple more questions here, guys. Lock in. Not a fan of any Team City Connect jerseys. D-Mac, are you going to the game? Are you going to have the post-game shows? Absolutely. It's a full go. We are back. I got my season credential, so I'm going to be able to go to every single game this year, and I'm going to give you guys full coverage. A lot of surprises for you this month. It's going to be pretty awesome. They need to go retro with their City Connect jerseys. Yeah, I would like to see them go with those silky blue ones. World Series patch would be nice. How much did Noel pay for his jersey? I do not know. Wish football was like this. D-Mac, we need a shoey after tonight's comeback tie. Matt, that's the comment of the show. That's the comment of the show. The day I do shoeys for spring training ties, that's when I know I'll have a major issue. That's when I know that there'll be a problem. So I will not be doing that. But I love the enthusiasm for sure. I could just do a shoey because baseball's back for real this week, and that definitely will make me happy. But we are running out of time, so let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
All right, today for the walk-off, I thought this was really cool. Kirsten Watson, one of the best in the game. She was super smooth with this fist bump while she was doing a hit for Sportsnet, and she was completely unfazed. Here, check out Kirsten Watson before the game.
Now he feels like things are in a very good spot. So today he is playing at third base. This again is something that we could be seeing moving forward. Having Max Muncy when there's a lefty on the mound, allowing him to come out late into the game. So for this, Santiago today at third, but we also could see him playing at first base if Freddie needs some time off, or even late in the game, or at second, guys.
Such a pro. Kirsten Watson, she's awesome. She's excellent. And, yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see her grow in taking over for Alana Rizzo and just being great at communicating with players. I mean, you see off camera, all the players will talk to her all the time, and she's just fantastic at what she does. And I mean, she was smooth right there, man. I just want to give her props on that. I thought that was awesome. But all right, let's get over this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. We'll be back tomorrow. We are back. We are so back, Dodgers Nation. And get excited because your boys in blue play for real this week. But that's going to do it this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. Do me a huge favor. Hit a like on the way out. Drop a comment on the way out. And most importantly, remember that there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that brings together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.